This isn't actually, like, excellent, but I'm assuming I'm supposed to keep the potential of turn 2 Katilda, turn 3 Yasharn on the draw, even if that's, like, pretty not great. We do still get to go turn 3 Kodama if they interact with Katilda, I suppose. Okay, so since we drew the planes, I can actually lean on Lair of the Hydra. That way, if we draw Cave of the Frost Dragon, I get to play it turn 2, and if not, I just play planes into Katilda, and it's fine. And that way we have fewer tap lands. Otherwise, it was going to be Overgrown Farmland into Lair of the Hydra, but that was slightly worse if we managed to top deck Cave of the Frost Dragon. Emergent Sequence. No. It comes into play tapped, so it doesn't matter. I can't use Emergent Sequence to block the Spirited Companion regardless. And I don't think my opponent's deck is likely to have too many ways to kill Katilda here. Yeah, Borrowed Time does work. Wait, no! Emergent Sequence doesn't get exiled by Borrowed Time! Oh, no. I got. Alright, well. Oh, Emergent Sequence also potentially, depending on how they attacked, let us play Kodama into attack with the Emergent Sequence token. I wonder if that was actually better too. Was the right number of Kodama? I'm pretty sure 4. Like, I have not felt bad about having 4 in the deck at all. Yeah, opponent gets to pump all these creatures. I am still actually totally okay trading with this, though. I have no other real use at the moment for the Kodama. Alright, the Storm the Festival is interesting, potentially. Generous Visitor up to a 4/4. Can it pump itself? It can, yikes. Alright, well, so that just gets to punch me this turn. Not excited about that. So I can play Emergent Sequence, plus hold up Lair of the Hydra to chump block next turn. I don't want to chump block, but I might need to. Okay, Esika's Chariot also can just be excellent. I think I'm probably supposed to hold back Yasharn. I probably don't need to, but I don't think attacking for 4 is likely to make a huge difference. Boseiju, you're ramping me, opponent? That's so kind of you. Thank you. I'm now extremely happy I held back Yasharn. Yeah, the kitty cat on the lap does play excellent Magic indeed. Yeah, they discard a planes, get back the pupper, presumably. Yeah, draws a card. Michiko comes back as a somewhat large creature, moderately concerning. Kami, but they're kind of out of cards at this point. So can I just grind them out? Wedding Announcement makes that harder. Not impossible, but harder. I'm really happy I didn't swing with the Yasharn. Okay. Pretty sure I'm supposed to storm the festival. Yuck. Alright, well, grabbing lands doesn't really benefit me too much. Well, is that actually true? So Wedding Announcement's going to make a blocker. I'm going to have 4. If I grab the land, and make my land drop, then I can Emergent Sequence, which lets me storm the festival next turn. Is that more relevant than having Fearless Fledgling as a blocker? Probably. Alright, I can't attack this turn. I need the top deck to not be something too brutal. Michigo's Reign of Truth is really quite absurdly brutal, like the worst possible thing they could have drawn. So that's tough. Yeah, that's pretty rough. Well, wasn't really beating that. I do wonder if I could have beaten them if I had correctly played the land-based ramp spell on 2 instead of the Katilda to play around specifically Borrowed Time. That'd be interesting. But, well, at least we learned something. Alright, well, I believe we are supposed to keep hands that go turn 2 Florahedron, turn 3 Chariot. Just as a general rough guess. Because he has different colored paws? Yeah, they're like little white socks. But also it's short for Socrates. Still not sure whether I'm supposed to Katilda or Tangled Florahedron first. I'm assuming it's supposed to be Katilda. But I don't have a ton of reason why. Oh, also we can tip this back up. Whoa, what? Oh, this is their turn, not the end of my turn. Okay, I was very confused how they pulled that off. But, nah, that makes sense. Unfortunately for the opponent, not interacting is a tough way to combat Esika's Chariot. I guess playing Katilda like this does mean that now on turn 4, if I miss on the untapped land, I can play Felidar Retreat plus Tangled Florahedron as the land. I would prefer to go untap land Wrenn, but it's still, you know, decent. Untap land Wrenn would be decent. The opponent's shocked here, which makes me suspect this is saw it coming. Could also just be a board wipe, though. If it's a saw it coming or a board wipe, honestly, I think I'd rather have Felidar Retreat developed here. Okay. I don't think there's any benefit to me playing this as a creature at any point, so I might as well get the tap land out of the way. Going to make things a little bigger. The hope here is that the opponent just has a removal spell for Chariot. Sweet. It means they're probably not going to play a board wipe here, but if they did, then I just got a bunch of value out of it, which is cool. Okay, board wipe. Sweet. Boop. They might counter the Wrenn, but that's sort of fine. Nope, they don't. Okay. In that case, do I want to force my opponent to... So, assuming that they have another removal spell, Fateful Absence here is the most likely thing. Do I want to put a creature on board to pressure their life total, or do I want to draw lands? Since I have the 6th land for Storm the Festival anyway, I think I can afford to downtick Wrenn here to split my threats. I'm kind of already okay in the card advantage front. Oh, okay. Well, Devastating Mastery is not a card I was expecting, but was a clean answer to that and punished me for down-ticking the Wrenn. But let's go ahead and Storm the Festival and just play another Wrenn and I guess a Yasharn, because threats and cards are cool. Yeah, this time let's go ahead and uptick. Because apparently now I have to play around Devastating Mastery. I guess. And having land drops set up for the next couple of turns makes Storm of the Festival a lot more reliable here. Memory Deluge, sure. How many can they play? I don't know, but anybody who's willing to play one Devastating Mastery is willing to play any number of copies. I'm just not willing to take that risk. Swing with Yasharn. I don't presume the opponent cares about this at all. They do not. Okay. Well, force the opponent to have board wipes. Play creature threats. I'm not going to play Storm the Festival in a position where my opponent is very close to forced to board wipe anyway. Fateful Absence gets a lot better with Yasharn in play, unfortunately for me. Regardless of whether it's my Yasharn or not. Oh, opponent! You've allowed me to draw a card. Opponent definitely on board wipe tribal, so we're gonna try not to deck ourselves here. Cannot storm the festival yet, unfortunately, which meant playing the land drop was wrong. I read my amount of mana incorrectly. Luckily, not punished for it by hitting a... whatchamacall those things? Felidar Retreat, because I still can't remember the name of that card. Opponent's drawing mini cards. Good for them, good for them, good for them. What? Kitty released. Retreat. Restoration to a Ganjo. Okay. Opponent's really not playing a lot of counterspells thus far, are they? Ooh. Felidar Retreat. Oh, so tempting. Alright, and I think we put +1/+1 counters on everything. Put a bunch of mana into play. What do you say, opponent? Sound good? On the Chariot. Are you sure you didn't want to do that on the Kodama? Okay. Well, I'll stick around with Trample if you say so. Not as productive a chump block as perhaps they would have wanted. I can go turn that back off, can't I? And then we're gonna go ahead and make more kitties, force the opponent to have a board wipe. We are doing a surprisingly effective job of outcard advantaging the opponent while being kind of almost entirely a dedicated aggro deck. Especially considering the opponent's played like 4 board wipes. You want to just play that Mascot Exhibition opponent? I'd be fine with it. Yeah, that's fair. We are pretty weak to a farewell at this point. Although we wouldn't be if I had found one of those lands. What are they called? Lair, the Hydras. Instead, we just have Cave of the Frost Dragon, which we're still kind of close to doing the old Wrenn and Seven Lava Axe lethal. I can attack for 6 with Cave of the Frost Dragon right now. Alright, so what flash board wipes are there in the format? Blue March. They can hit 3, 6, 7 targets, and I only have 7 attackers, huh? Harsh. But that also means that all my creatures, you know, don't get board wiped at sorcery speed then. Which is probably fine for me. I'm assuming I'm probably supposed to storm the festival then. I don't know, maybe not? Yeah, I'm probably supposed to storm the festival, because that actually lets me get another creature land. Which or we could whiff. That's an option too. Alright, well, let's just get lands, I guess. Seems fine. Okay, well, what's the plan then, opponent? Okay, that was the plan. Sometimes you play around the only card that could possibly get them out of the situation, and then after all your deliberation, they just don't have it. Sometimes that's the way that goes. Yeah, there is Cinderclasm, but I don't think Cinderclasm was getting him out of this either. Alright, well, this doesn't do much, but it does have a Florahedron, so I guess we keep it. Because most draws are at least decent here. If we draw a 4-drop, that's cool. If we draw a Squawking Bird, that's cool. If we draw the counter ramp spell, that's cool, but no. Unfortunately, just Wedding Announcements, which is not terribly ideal. We don't have much we can do with this Kodama, but like, we're on the play and we're going to curve out a bunch of Wedding Announcements. That could be worse. But it's probably not going to be good enough against a Jukai Naturalist curve, unfortunately. Alright, let's develop our tap land. So we're not really blocking with the Tangled Florahedron here. Settle an argument for me, Kodama the West Tree has been fairly terrible, right? No, absolutely not. Kodama the West Tree has been absolutely excellent in the deck, and like, I don't think this deck could exist, period, without it. It's not always correct to play on curve every time, but its existence giving the deck access to mass trample, in addition to occasionally giving you curves that are just absolutely busted, is a big deal. Yuck. I think I'm not supposed to take this 6 damage. Okay. I think I'm just supposed to play the Fledgling, give it a counter, and then play the Wedding Announcement. And just keep making a bunch of 1/1s. We find ourselves in an awkward position. We're not really pulling ahead at all. I might just have to take this Jukai Naturalist hit to try to develop a board state where the Anthem effect is reasonable. I think I can afford to lose the life here. Wedding Announcement. Okay, I'd like to draw a land. No. We draw a Wrenn and Seven. Which isn't technically bad. It's just awkward. If I play Wrenn, I could uptick, make a land drop and storm the festival next turn, or I could downtick, have blockers for days, probably be okay. Upticking pumps Fearless Fledgling, which gives us pretty good... Well, no, we're going to flip the Wedding Announcement anyway. I think I can probably afford to downtick. Part of the problem here is that I'm in trouble if the opponent has a removal spell for Wrenn if I don't uptick. I think I'm supposed to uptick. I think it's just too much risk for me to not Okay, so the opponent can't attack with the Portrait of Michiko this turn. We have chump blockers for a while. At this point, they're kind of elevated beyond simple chump blockers. They're advanced chump blockers. Hollowed Haunting our opponent's stuff gains reach. Okay, that's actually pretty awful. Well, not reach, flying. I probably can't beat that. Oh, it's exactly enough to kill Wrenn and Seven, huh? Well, I'm glad I upticked, but I don't know that I can beat this. Hollow Haunting giving every creature flying is a little absurd. Yeah, we definitely just didn't scale fast enough here. How many reach creatures can I get? That's going to be the big question here. 1 block, 2 block, still dead. Yeah, opponent's at 34, so I'm doubting that I have lethal. I can't give Fearless Fledgling flying on the opponent's turn. I don't think there's any way this can get there. Not unless the opponent messes this up somehow. Which, to be fair, could do. And I just needed to be like 1 turn faster than this. And I can't play that this turn. Yeah, bummer. Yeah, alright. Howlin' Haunting giving flying. Not something I can actually beat. Yeah, what I needed the opponent to do was make chump blocks with Spirited Companions to lose flying, and like forget that they needed enough enchantments to pull that off. I'm assuming Felidar Retreat is decent enough to be worth ramping into on turn 3 here. On the play, that probably lowers my requirements a little bit. Okay, consider isn't it unsummon. Yeah, Boseiju might actually be correct and interesting. I have not often needed this many basics. That was my original concern, but we could probably get away with cutting 1 forest for Boseiju and not feeling bad about that. Consider gamers, so expect Hullbreaker? Okay, I don't care about that. Hullbreaker hasn't been a good card in like 6 months. Am I nuts? I don't think that... I think Boseiju tends to get very overrated in Standard, but this is probably one deck that actually has a use for it because it struggles with flyers like that. Probably a reasonable inclusion. We're going to make some cats, and we're going to play this, and we're going to make all of our stuff out of range of the Smoldering Egg. That was a fun turn. Nordic75, thanks for the follow. Glad you're enjoying the stream. I like panicked halfway through that sentence because I forgot what word was supposed to come at the end. And then, like at the very last second, I remembered, oh right, I'm supposed to say stream. That's what this is. This is a pretty good indication of why we actually play Emergent Sequence. Does occasionally do stuff. Okay, the Smoldering Egg flips. Now, opponent, this is very important. Are you going to hold the Ashmouth Dragon back, or are you going to die? Correct decision was made. You're going to put a +1/+1 counter on everything. And we're going to storm the festival. No, I wanted to hit Kodama and give everything trample. This is the worst. Am I supposed to go with Felidar Retreat? I've already made my land drop, right? Yes. I could just go with 2 lands, honestly. Put counters on everything. Swing with a 6/6, 7/7. It's 12, 19. Not quite lethal. But that's got to be hard for the opponent to deal with, right? I kind of feel like that's secretly actually the play. Especially because then I get to post-combat wedding announcement. I mean, this is like pretty cool, right? Boop, boop, boop. And then we get to draw a card. Whee! Isn't it the same as Felidar Retreat in 1 land? No, it's slightly different because by doing it this way, we actually had the extra mana, which let us play the wedding announcement, and got us closer to flashing back the Storm the Festival. It's the same number of triggers, but it's not the same amount of mana, essentially. Bugfanboy_. Thanks for the follow. Glad you're enjoying the stream, too. Well, that might be the most damage I've ever done with a pair of basic forests in my life. Alright, well this hand does nothing, so we're gonna ship it. Huh. Okay. Hypothetically, this hand has a plan, I guess. Alright, land drop helps. Opponent playing a burn spell that isn't going at my Emergent Sequence is something I'm fine with. Non-tokens creatures turning into forests does turn them into non-basics. The way that the way the rules are defined is that something is a basic if it has the type basic, and every other land is a non-basic land. Alright, opponent, you get to draw a card with Tovolar. Good luck. Stormseeker. Alright, draws 2 cards. The race is on. So we start by making a kitty cat, and then I make 2 kitty cats. Or do I make everything into 4/4s? I probably make things into 4/4s. Then we swing. And next turn we play Storm of the Festival. I feel like I'm outscaling my opponent at this point, but we'll see what happens when they play Halana and Elena. Well, that doesn't seem good for you, opponent. Are you just going to do nothing? I mean, it's allowed. We'll put some counters on everybody. Then we're going to cast Storm of the Festival. And I guess we're going to get Kodama and a land? Isn't it weird that I've got like all these Wrenn and Sevens and I'm just not going to bother? Because Kodama of the West Tree is a silly magic card? Alright, I guess we win now. Opponent? Yeah, I'd love to get 2 basics. Thank you, deck. Yeah, I'll get more creatures, why not? And put a counter on that creature. Okay. Kodama kinda bullying. Not wrong at all. Brutal Cathar. Okay, on what? The Kodama? Sure. I'll sit here with a bunch of 7/7s. Why not? This just doesn't even matter. Admittedly, kind of awkward. 5, 9... Oh wait, this costs 10 to flashback? Oh, that's why I've been doing the math wrong this entire time, huh? No land drop. No land drop. Well, I can put my opponent to 1 and make them sack their entire board. That's probably worth doing. I think I should probably do that. Okay. Or we can put them to -20. That works too. Alright, well, the rules are we keep hands that ramp 2-drop into Esika's Chariot. That is required. Separate from this deck, but what are your thoughts on Valakut Exploration? I haven't seen a list that made it look like it made sense yet, but I do know some people have been trying to make it work. I'm assuming opponent's on a Magda list? No. That wouldn't make sense with Snow-Covered Forest, would it? Opponent, I'm intrigued. Just spare a Sentinel Dragon's Guard Elite to, like, play a ton of super cheap cantrips, I assume? That could get interesting. Dragon Guard Elite could get big enough to just block Esika's Chariot. Okay, definitely mono green. Mono green Dragon's Guard Elite. What does that mean? I'm going to assume this has to be Snakeskin Veil that they want to trade off with the Chariot, right? No? Maybe not? Okay. Oh. Do I want to make that trade? I mean, wait, no, you can't attack with both. That definitely doesn't work. Okay. I was really hoping we wouldn't miss this land drop. Okay, my life gets awkward now. I'm going to be attacking and trading Esika's Chariot with Werewolf Pack Leader, I guess, but I need to actually draw cards off the Wedding Announcement, so attacking with 2 is still required here. So I don't actually lose the cat token, because they probably don't want to trade with Dragon's Guard. Oh, they could have the 1-drop, actually, come to think of it. Yeah, and then they... Right. I forgot that they can pump the Dragon's Guard Elite because they didn't actually attack with just Bear Sentinel or Dragon's Guard Elite last turn. Snakeskin Veil doesn't save the Pack Leader, but the Indestructible card does? Oh, alright. That's inconvenient. I did have to do this, though. That's the part that sucks. Yeah, not drawing lands is pretty awful. I could have sat around doing nothing, I guess. Okay, so opponents on the similar list just... I mean, I guess Dragon Guard Elite is kind of cool with Kodama. But, yeah. I don't got much I can do. Yeah, okay. So they're just going heavy on 1-mana instants that put counters on stuff for Kodama. Which is cool. I don't think it scales as well as what we're doing, but what we're doing definitely needs to make land drops in order to scale at all. Unfortunately, that's not happening. Alright, at this point I think I just need to make blockers, unfortunately. Ranger class is good enough. I don't know about that, it's pretty slow. Turns into a 5/3. Alright, well, I think I block like this and hope they don't wipe my board. Which should not be very hard for them to wipe my board. Why not switch to the Snowlands and run Blizzard Brawl? Because then we'd have to cut stuff to put in Blizzard Brawl, and we don't have a huge number of basics to enable Blizzard Brawl on turn 3. You really can't play Blizzard Brawl without playing a monocolored deck list. It's really difficult, even once you're playing 2 colors, to have a reliable 2-color mana base that can run Blizzard Brawl. Oh, I should have crewed the Chariot and blocked with the Chariot. Losing the Chariot's a lot less relevant than losing 2/2s here. But mostly, that's just completely unwinnable for me. Because they did, in fact, successfully wipe my board. Okay, well, we did our best to attempt to draw lands, but the deck definitely doesn't function without them. Unfortunately, this hand doesn't do anything, so that's getting shipped. No, the Hinata combo lists can play Goldspan Dragon, but don't need to. Okay, we can keep this. Throwing away this Tangled Florahedron is risky. But I will live risky. The hope is that we Emergent Sequence on 2, and then Kodama of the West Tree on 3, and actually manage to attack and connect with the Emergent Sequence, so that we get to ramp. Oh yeah, whether the list, when a list is called Jeskai Combo on like MTG Melee, it's kind of a guessing game what the deck actually is. Wow, okay, that's a new, very aggressive card. Also, we could just play Esika's Chariot on turn 3. That's occasionally a thing we can just do instead. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to build Jeskai right now, all of which are strong, and all of them eat mid-range alive. But people are of the opinion that white-black piles are good because they were good before rotation, and I actually don't even think that was true. We just didn't really have Izzet figured out at the time, and that has 1,000,000% stopped being the case now. It will take some time for the metagame to adjust, though. Is there more deck variance in Mythic compared to Diamond? Usually. It depends a little bit on like how late in the month it is, and whether you're playing at high Mythic or low percents Mythic. Low percents Mythic are super diverse, because folks want to get to Mythic, and then they quit playing meta decks and start playing jank, and start dropping in ranks. High Mythic is varied, but mostly, you don't run into a ton of, like, what's the politest way to say, like, non-functional jank? You still run into jank, but not like, Am I willing to trade my Chariot to get more Wrenn tokens here? Probably? Probably. It's a bummer that I have to lose the Chariot to make this attack, but it's probably still correct to make. Not leaving deck 2 5/5s here, because odds are the Generous Visitor is going to get pumped, and I would... Oh, I can't chump block it. I should have left back 2 5/5s. I forgot it had trample, is what just happened. So this was just kind of wrong. 2 5/5s would at least let me double block with it and trade. Alright, so our opponent gets to play infinity number of runes. We just have to hope they don't have too many. Well, that's bad. Not terribly surprising. We are not playing fast enough to handle that. I guess I have one Boseiju I can hit here off the uptick from Wrenn. Nope, we whiffed. Okay. So they Michiko the Generous Visitor. I should not have any outs here, I don't think. Well, I suppose on the lucky front, none of my mistakes mattered. I don't have the ability to do anything. I feel like I would deny mono white as strong. I struggle to think of too many matchups that exist right now where mono white would be favored. Oh, they found more trample. I mean, I don't think I had a way to survive this regardless, but that definitely makes it harder. Now we hope they forget to assign trample damage, which they did not do, unfortunately. I'm not actually into this hand, because we need to draw a land, but I guess we could just draw a land. That'll be fine. Fair that Hinata would not be in Izzet. I don't think that Izzet is a deck. There's no reason to play Izzet. There are people trying to play Izzet with like Hullbreaker Horror, but Hullbreaker Horror hasn't been a good card for a very long time, and still currently is not a very good card. So, not where I would be starting. This is not a good draw. I mean, hopefully the opponent doesn't remove the forest. Oh, if you want to just Fading Hope the forest opponent, that's actually, like, kind of totally fine with me. Oh, Emergent Sequence. Sweet. You want to Fading Hope that too, opponent? No? Okay. Well, if the opponent just wants to chill out and play white mana, then I'm just gonna play my Wrenn and Seven and downtick and make big scary attackers. I'm also in Diamond 2, not sure what to play to time, honestly. Okay, Hinata's actually gonna be hard for me to beat. The best advice I can probably give is don't concern yourself too much with like what the optimal list to play is. Just focus on being very conscientious of your play and trying to figure out how to improve the deck you are playing, because the ceiling... what's the right way to put this? Alright, let's start with upticking Wrenn. So I can play this and then stop thinking and think about what to actually say. I think I'm probably just supposed to play Storm the Festival here. That's not very exciting at all. Okay. It is possible to make it to Mythic with a lot of not particularly excellent decks. And I think that knowledge of how to play a deck really well tends to make most of the difference of whether you get in or not. And so if you find yourself feeling like you're treading water, switching decks is probably the worst thing you can do. And trying to just focus on learning one deck all the way through is the best thing you can do in that situation. Okay, so they're killing the Wrenn, tapping down the 6/6s, killing our forest. Which, sure. I'm probably okay with that, and then we just play another Wrenn. Yeah, I think I'm mostly okay with that. Make 1/1 chump blockers. I mean, I feel like we're kind of just forcing the opponent to keep having Magma Opus, or eventually they're going to die. Hey, Chunky Toast! Thanks for the subscription. I really appreciate the support. How do you answer all my 6/6s, opponent? Also, they're going to keep getting bigger. Magma Opus to kill the Wrenn and Seven on my upkeep. Kill the 2 1/1s, tap down 2 6/6s. That's reasonable. That's reasonable. Now? Why now? Do we think there's lethal? Oh, they might just have the extra turn spell. That actually would be lethal here, wouldn't it? I probably miss a lot of lines where that's lethal. No, just Windfall? Okay. So now do you have another Magma Opus? Is that what this is? Attack? Okay. Why do you think this deck list is great against the meta you're in? Seems pretty dope. I don't know. I like, actually don't know. I kind of just built a linear deck that does its thing and doesn't interact at all, and wanted to see how it did, and it turns out it does kind of fine. Oh, Yasharn is interesting, but I'm like 1 mana off doing anything. No, I'm not, because these grow. These grow. Grow. When I make a land drop. Okay, so I get to uptick Wrenn first. Okay, so the hope is that we're about to make the opponent not realize what's going on. All right, we win. I think the opponent didn't realize the Yasharn entering means they can't sack their treasures for mana, which means that I just play a land and attack, and they die? Yeah, that is what happens. This hand seems really bad. But if we do draw an untapped land in our first 2 draw steps, we get to go Emergent Sequence into Yasharn. Into Felidar Retreat, into Felidar Retreat. The problem is that's not actually good. Alright, I think we got to mulligan this. Alright. We got a plan, and the plan is the face of victory. Put a basic back in our deck. Alright, deck, let's go. Let's go. One time, no removal, opponent. Retrieve sucks. He's still over there? Oh, okay. And we can go do that. Fearless Fledgling takes to the air. Kodama. This curve is so stupid. Like, I don't even know if it's good, but it's like the most dumb, beautiful thing. Alright, be right back. Alright, where were we? We were on make a land drop, swing with Fearless Fledgling, make another land drop, and then probably play Yasharn? I mean, this curve seems real fun. Not gonna lie. Every single time we've gotten to go turn 2 Fearless Fledgling into turn 3 Kodama of the West Tree has actually just been such a delight. Yeah, I don't feel like Hopeful Initiates are where you want to be at, opponent. Okay, well... give her Birdie Flying. Do I want to just fire up Lair of the Hydra for 5? Is that the life I'm supposed to be about? That sounds like a boring life. I don't want to live that life. We're going to play Wedding Announcement and Tangled Florahedron instead. Who needs to win the game when we can draw more cards? No! My clue token! Opponent, kill my Yasharn! Opponent, kill my Yasharn! Opponent! Opponent, kill my Yasharn! How am I supposed to draw cards if there's a Yasharn in play stopping me from doing that? Oh right, Wedding Announcement. Okay, that helps. Still no attacks, huh? Okay. Well, unfortunately I can't really do anything. I mean, I could trade my Kodama off with an Elite Spellbinder, I suppose. Mostly in service of Wedding Announcement. Well, no, actually. Let's see. I can... totally broadcast exactly what I'm doing here. Fire up Lair of Hydra for 4. Gee, I wonder if I have a Wedding Announcement on 3 mana that I want to play post-combat. Alright, Yasharn and Lair of the Hydra get in. My opponent can trade whatever they want. I'm fine with it. Wandering Emperor? Oh no, that's like almost bad for me. Except I still got to attack, so I'm still drawing cards with Wedding Announcement regardless. No, my Lair, it's gone. I'm sad. Okay. And we're going to draw some cards. More lands. More lands? You know what? That actually might be a problem. Joke's on you, opponent. I don't have any cards you get to exile. Luckily, we played around that. Oh, the opponent actually made a mistake there. They shouldn't have down-ticked Wandering Emperor last turn. They should have up-ticked it on the Elite Spellbinder and then blocked with First Strike. And then on their turn, down-ticked to exile, like, the Tangled Florahedron. They presumably don't want to exile the Yasharn, because keeping me off the clue token is relevant. I do still want to draw cards with Wedding Announcement. Cool. Cool. Alright. I don't think that's actually good for them, but it is good for me, so I'll take it. Crack the clue. On the off chance we hit, whatchamacallit? Storm the Festival. It was better to cast here than Wrenn and Seven, but instead, we'll just down-tick Wrenn and Seven. Draw more cards. Yay! Storm the Festival! Yay! A birdie! Alright, I think we're still like so massively out-resourcing our opponent that nothing that has happened this game matters. Intrepid adversary, oh no. But that probably still doesn't matter. Till end of turn or until end of next turn? Okay, until end of turn. Good to know. Storm the Festival. Kodama and Felidar Retreat. Excellent. Then I would like to play Fearless. No. Yes. Fearless Fledgling. And then I would like to play Tangled Florahedron as a land and put +1/+1 counters on everything. And then I would like to zero Wrenn and Seven and put 4 lands into play. Give him the old lava axe. That's just absolutely a delight.